All right, Techthusiast, so I had my hands on an Apple Vision Pro. I spent 2 weeks with it, and yes, I did like some. I think decide to go ahead and return it back to the Apple Store before the expiration of the return period for a few specific reasons. But I wanted to make 3 videos about the Apple Vision Pro experience. In this one, I'm talking about the things that I thought were really awesome, the 5 aspects specifically that I really liked in the device. I'm going to do another one talking about 5 things that I think have quite a bit of room for improvement. And then most importantly for the channel, there will be a video about why, for me, the Apple Vision Pro is not my next home theater, but maybe actually for some of you out there, I think it really could be. Now, let's talk about the 5 aspects of the Vision Pro that I thought were just absolutely fantastic, new types of experiences beyond my expectations, and I think really set the device apart. So number 1, I think has to do with windowing and that spatial computing experience. Now, most importantly for this, I think the thing that I want to stress is that I didn't find the Apple Vision Pro most useful as a replacement for or a display for my MacBook. To me, I think it's like a multitasking iPad in the space around you. And I think if you set your expectations a little bit more towards an iPad versus a MacBook, you may find that you're happier with the device overall. But being able to launch apps, put them in the space in front of you, be able to place apps around you, up above, down below, side to side, again, that 360-degree spatial computing aspect was something that I never really experienced before. I think it's breaking new ground, and I think it has tremendous potential for how we may use interfaces, use devices, and all of that in the future. And where they can go with it in future revisions and 10 years from now, this idea of spatial computing might have us. I'm really kind of giddy for. I'm really excited for. I think it will have the potential to be awesome. But I think they did it, even now getting started, I think they did it so intelligently. Being able to grab app windows and move them around with your hands so simplistically, being able to expand them and just really customize your view. I think it's a fantastic device to chill back on the couch with at the end of the night, put up a Safari, read, surf the web, do some research, have a YouTube window over here, have your messages over here, maybe Apple Music or something up there, right? Whatever little things that you want to pay attention to, maybe even have a movie playing or a TV show playing up above your surfing window, your browsing window. Again, whatever it may be, the absolute power I think is really unique and fantastic. In addition, with the idea that I can set up windows in one physical space environment of my home and walk away from that and set up windows in another place. So if I had a certain collection of things that I wanted to do while I was sitting on the couch, different from perhaps a collection of things that I may do while sitting at my desk in my office, those windows stay behind, they stay open, they stay over there. Sometimes that actually leads to the ability to lose track of stuff and like, oh, I'm launching this app and it's happening like actually way over there and I want to bring it. But when you reach out and you grab apps that maybe you moved around, so you're looking at the back of them and then you grab them and move them over and they flip around. The concept of these apps in space is just so well done, and again, I think it has so much potential for the future of computing. My number 2 cool aspect really does have to do again with the idea of that kind of command and control, being able to tap our fingers together to look at something and actuate it, being able to grab and move stuff around and manipulate things in space is so well done. I think that is incredibly superior to the idea of having to have controllers or having to have things in your hands to actually do those manipulations. You just have your hands there. There's cameras that are basically shooting down from the underside of the Apple Vision Pro. It has its pros and cons then, no pun intended, right? You're not going to be laying back and actuating things back here. You do have to have your hands like visible to the unit and visible to the cameras. I had a couple moments where I was sitting in the living room at night where we usually keep the lights pretty dim. Our surfing kind of passive TV watching mode with the fireplace on in the wintertime has the lights pretty dim, and it kind of struggled a little bit to see my hands, so we had to bring the lights up a little bit for that. But I think the potential is huge. Future camera tech, future tracking, image capture and image processing, the quality of these cameras is only going to get better and better. Probably have infrared cameras at some point so you could actually even use the thing in the dark. Again, massive, massive potential, but they're laying the groundwork right now with ideas, I think, that are just so smart, very, very intuitive. After just a couple of days using the thing, I was able to fly in the UI, and having folks demo my unit and put it on and kind of explaining to them what to do. Most everybody picked it up real quick. I think it's also really smart, really fantastic. how they let you actually touch the windows and interact with. I didn't even realize that at first. My son mentioned it to me after we were messing around with it one time, and he's like, oh, you can do this. And so on the passcode windows, certain windows launch systematically close enough to you that they're within your arm's reach, and you can just simply reach out. And as long as you're poking through the plane of the window, you can touch and actuate things. Any window can be brought close enough to you that you can actually touch and interact with it. So at times, if you are trying to focus on something with your eyes and get that tap actuation and you're having trouble, you can bring the thing close and just touch it with your hand. I think this is the type of interface, evolution, design, and so on, design sense, where Apple really excels with things. And I think this is also an example of like how Apple tends to come to certain technology areas perhaps a little bit later than other competitors, but they bring in like new ideas and they make the stuff work in just a really fantastic way. The number 3 item that I thought was really unique and really cool was the idea of the environments. By default, of course, the Apple Vision Pro is giving you a pass-through of your environment. There's externally facing cameras, so you're not physically looking through the unit, through the lenses. You are looking at an image captured, camera captured presentation of the space around you. But when you want to get out of that space, you want the distractions of what's happening in your surroundings away, you can activate a specific environment. There's a bunch of them in there now. Go to a volcano, go to the moon. The one that I particularly liked and used the most was Yosemite. Being able to see the mountain range kind of up in front of you, that snowy, that environment was just very calming to me. I liked the snow fallen look and style of that, the trees and everything. And the intelligence of being able to say, like, I want to do this environment in a light mode, or I want to do it in a dark mode, or be able to set that environment to change automatically. When you want to feel like the presence of the environment, go to light mode. When you want to focus more on your window, the content, whatever it is you're looking at, go to dark mode. It just makes a lot of sense. And I definitely found myself most often after getting set up to use the Vision Pro for something specific, sitting down and using it, I was always dialing the environment fully up. They're incredibly high res. They have a little bit of motion sense to them. So the volcano one, you could see the clouds moving gently. So they have a sound element to them as well. A little ASMR type of simple noise to just kind of calm you and get you focused and engage your mind and stuff like that. It's such a simple aspect of the device, but I think it really added to the experience quite a lot for me of using it. It's basically like taking the idea of a desktop background wallpaper, right, and turning it into a physical computing environment instead of just being the place that your windows kind of passively sit in front of in a regular computing experience. I think they also did a really, really great job catapulting the idea of an environment into the TV app itself, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, of course, when I do the Vision Pro as your home theater video. But the cinema mode in the Apple TV app as an environment, I also felt was completely fantastic. It replicated the idea of a projected image. There's like light spill and a little bit of light reflection going up and going down. It's just black and dark around otherwise, but you could see the ground. You could see the ceiling in this like dark gray kind of patterned carpet kind of view. Really did feel like you were in a cinema type of environment. And it makes me wonder then for other apps and things coming, how they would be able to do customized environments built to the experience of that app, right? Let me read a comic book. Let me read a graphic novel in an environment somehow related to the book that I'm reading. Let me play a game surrounded with some elements that are specific to that game as well. All of these different pieces, again, they just scream potential. Like, what can you do with this thing that will make using it unique and different and a new type of evolution, a new type of use of a computer that we haven't really experienced before. The future is so bright in that regard. For the fourth one, I do want to mention the concept of the immersive video. So there's a bunch of different ways to watch video of different types. Of course, we can have just 2D movies in a cinematic space in front of us. The 3D presentation of content was the best 3D hands down that I've ever experienced. And I've long admitted on the channel here to never really being a fan of 3D, never really taking to it, never really liking it. And I think the Apple Vision Pro was the best 3D movie presentation that I've ever experienced. But the step up from that is the full-on immersive type of video. I highly recommend everybody, even if you're marginally interested in the device, even if you have no real intention to buy one, go register for a free demo at an Apple store near you if you have one, and you'll get to experience a couple of these things firsthand. They have like a 2.5 minute kind of demo reel, sizzle reel of immersive video that they will play for you in the Apple Store experience, and I think it really just gets that got me like so excited for the future of really immersive video. In that immersive experience teaser, you're up on mountains, you're in hot air balloons, you're swimming underwater with sharks. That to me, that was one of the ones that really stood out as like, this is just it's just crazy. It's amazing, quite honestly. I like to swim. I would like to snorkel. I don't think I will ever be much of a scuba diver. To be able to have an experience like that, to go underwater and feel that feeling that you're kind of like almost there in this space, in this environment with these animals and whatnot swimming around you, was just crazy. The sporting event elements, there's a view of a soccer game where you're kind of perched up above the crossbar of the goal, and there's game going on, and somebody kicks the ball and it bounces off the crossbeam. And then the look of the baseball scene where you're basically sitting down kind of back behind first base, looking from the ground view up at the players playing, and they hit the ball and then they're running, everybody's doing their stuff. Think about the potential here to be able to buy virtual tickets, right, to a sporting event, buy virtual tickets to a concert, when all of the right camera technology to do this stuff, record these things and distribute them live. Let me go to WrestleMania, let me go to the Super Bowl, right, watch that Taylor Swift concert in this completely immersive experience and zone is just utterly fantastic, and again, ripe with just such incredible potential. On my most recent vacation, I did try to take several spatial videos, and I do have to admit that those didn't quite present quite the same way. It didn't do the full wraparound video quality, but the other element that stood out to me in terms of being immersed in something you have actually is panoramic photos. So I would recommend everybody out there, you're taking trips, you're looking at these impressive like vistas and whatnot, start taking more panoramic photos and have them ready, because in the future you may be looking back on past experiences, past vacations, and so on. And the presentation inside the Vision Pro of a panoramic photo was just absolutely insane. My wife took one from the balcony of our cruise ship, looking this way down one side of the ship, out at the expansive ocean, down looking at the ship on the other side. So as much as the iPhone 15 now can actually take spatial video, it can't actually take spatial photos. And honestly, the spatial video that it recorded, again, wasn't completely up to my level of expectation, but I wish I would have taken like 100 panoramic photos on that trip, and every future thing that I do now, I'll be definitely taking a lot more panoramic photos, because I think, again, there's going to be great opportunity in the future of consumption and these types of devices, that's the type of pictures we're all going to want. Looking back a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we're all going to want to have a lot of panoramic photos, I think. The fifth aspect that I want to hit on that to me was kind of changing, that was kind of game changing and really interesting, was the AR gaming experience. We didn't do too much of this, but we played some Fruit Ninja, and having the little pig and the characters running around on the floor, standing in the circle where the fruit ejectors are in front of you, and being able to slice and dice with your hands. My son dabbled with a little Lego building app where he was actually like placing Legos and able to kind of build stuff in space. What the Golf presented essentially like a game board where you could reach out and shoot the balls and do stuff like that. Now this might not be that original of experience, and if you've long been a Quest user or some of the other VR devices that are out there, maybe you've already experienced a bunch of this stuff and it's old hat to you. I've never really used other VR, AR types of headsets like this, so these were all new experiences to me. And I thought the gaming piece was interesting. Again, I think there's good potential to do immersive level gaming, and I'm curious to see essentially how it evolves into the future. It has to be a pillar of interesting use of the device going forward. And with the interface design, the capabilities and whatnot of the Vision Pro, I think Apple can enable and do some really unique things in that area. So those are the five areas that really stood out to me as kind of being like a fantastic, new, surprising, better than I expected element within the Apple Vision Pro. And I'll stress again, I recommend everybody, if you have access to it, go to an Apple store, do a demo, and you'll be able to check out a lot of the things that I'm talking about here, and sound off in the comments and let me know what you think of them as well. Stay tuned for the other content. I will be talking about the areas for improvement, and again, most importantly, I think for Techthusiasm, is why the Apple Vision Pro is not my replacement home theater, but why, in fact, maybe it is for certain folks, certain categories or demographics of folks. I think this device is really, really fantastic for, quite honestly. And I look forward so much, even though I returned mine for now, that's not to say that I might not rebuy it again, or who knows, we'll give it 2-3 years. There'll probably be a version 2 out. I think the future is absolutely bright for this device, and I'm very excited to see how it evolves over time. So let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. Did you buy one? Did you keep it? Did you take it back? Give me all the reasons. Let's dialogue and have some fun conversation all about it. Otherwise, please do all that regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video. And hey, if you'd like to support the channel to make it easier for me to buy and use and talk about and report on devices like this, feel free to leave a super thanks, PayPal, Venmo tips. Most importantly, if you would, shop with my affiliates, Audio Advice, Amazon, and others. It's always very much appreciated. Thanks so much for watching and coming back for more super tech enthusiasm, discussion, and fun. Thanks.